Okay, thank you, Amir. A couple things before we get started. The people who came to my table yesterday, I gave them an article that I wrote a couple years ago about my experiences when I started as a pro bono director. I have other copies, so if you're interested, please help yourself. And also this book, I don't know how many of you actually took a look at it to find out how to order it. It's a great resource. We gave one of these to each of our pro bono volunteers. And there are terrific tips in there, or helpful information to help you deal with the pro bono clients that you'll be working with. Okay, now, what we're going to try to do today is have you take what you've learned so far and do some more actual hands-on work to help you hit the ground running when you get back to your chapter and be able to implement a plan of work to get started. Or if you are at a certain level of development within your program, to move it to the next level. Now, this plan of work that we put together, Lori Irwin was kind enough to put this together, and we looked at it recently, is one option. You know, just like all the materials that you looked at yesterday, you can decide whether you want to use the FPA materials for workshops, or the NIFI materials, or whatever materials from whatever source. This is just one option, and this is intended to be a working document, a blueprint of to help you organize your thoughts to get where you want to be with regard to pro bono. So we're going to take a look at this document, and then we're going to break into groups. And let's just see here. This is the document that our chapter put together recently. It's by no means finished. I mean, it will be revised, and this is a working, breathing document, so it'll need to be edited and revised as we go. You know, pro bono is one of those things that's trial and error. You try things to see if it works, and then adjust as you go. So that's what this document will help you get started, though. So anyway, there's some general language in the document to sort of direct your thinking about developing a plan of work. And it says, of course, we need to be clear about our goals and focus our efforts. So you can read through that, and you know, reminding us of what our mission is, to helping individuals who are underserved and don't have access to our kind of help, and working through our community-based organizations. Now, mission statement. I don't know how you all feel about mission statements. They can help direct your efforts or give you a singular focus. I wouldn't spend forever working on your mission statement. I mean, a friend of mine once told me, fire, shoot, aim. You know, I mean, you can try to make this document the most perfect document that anyone ever saw, and then what you have is you have a document. You know, so this is really to get you springboard, to get you to actually take action in your communities. And that's really the end result that we're all working for. And this is just a tool to help you get there. So I don't want to overemphasize the importance of this, but if it's helpful, that's great. So our mission statement is our pro bono group will continue to partner with community-based organizations committed to helping the underserved in financial distress by delivering free financial literacy education and one-on-one counseling. We will also endeavor to educate young people, helping them learn and build good financial habits so that they will have a better chance to avoid poverty and rebound from financial setbacks more quickly as adults. So we're hoping, you know, to also work on the next generation. And some of our programs are family-oriented programs. And so hopefully the lessons that the parents learn, they can pass down to their kids. And then also, what activities will we do? And there might be other things that you would like to add to this list, but workshops are certainly one thing that we're doing. And we use PowerPoints, but I'm very interested in video. And when Mark mentioned video, I'm saying right on, because to me that's more impactful. And some of our constituents sitting in a PowerPoint presentation kind of classroom setting is not something that is as conducive to learning as maybe video and then a discussion. So we're going to try that anyway. We'll see. The Financial Planning Day, we've done 2 of them at our chapter, and they were, I believe, successful, although we still have work to do with regard to getting more people out. We had something like 170 or 80 people the first year and 150 the second in October 1st. So we have to find out, why aren't they coming? Why aren't more people coming? Philadelphia has a 26% poverty rate, Philadelphia residents. So you would think that they would come to this. Is it the name we use? We don't really know. Financial education, well, that is part of what we do. And one-on-one pro bono, we have several programs that are one-on-one, provide one-on-one service, counseling. All right. Pro bono administrator job descriptions. I think it can be helpful. Another thing that this document will do is you can pass it on to the next pro bono director, and there's continuity and information. So a new pro bono director will say, well, what am I expected to do? Here it is. Now, I think it's a great idea to mentor and to have succession planning. In some chapters, you might say with succession planning, they were lucky to find me, what succession planning. But to the extent possible, identify who are your best volunteers and sort of have in mind who you would like to approach at the right time to say, would you like to shadow me for this next period of time, and so you're ready to do this. I think it's almost more advantageous to be a pro bono director more than 1 year. The first year you're learning what you need to know, and so hang in there. It seems like we do that a lot in the FPA. You're in a position, and before the blink of an eye, you've graduated to another position, and it's kind of fast. So pro bono is an area where you might want to hang in there for a little while. Also, especially if your program is in the infancy stages of development. Because, it could take you several months just to develop your relationships with community-based organizations. So, establishing a pro bono committee. I said to the people who came to my table, I think it's important that you have relationships established with community-based organizations before you assemble a large pro bono committee so that you have something for them to do. People don't want to be on a committee without a purpose and actually activities to do. So that would be good. But there are ways to do this. Right? You can promote pro bono through your chapter meetings. I think the first place to start is your board. You need to get the backing of your board in your efforts to promote pro bono at your chapter, possibly sending a survey around to your to attendees at your meetings to find out what they are already doing in pro bono. It might be a good way to find potential partners and also potential volunteers to do this in a more organized way in a group through pro bono at your chapter. So that's something to do. But you need to find like-minded people at your chapter who want to do this work and want to become involved. I think that pro bono is great for membership because they are involved and engaged. Okay. Another thing is ascertaining people's interests. It's important to match people with things they're passionate about. Rather than put a round peg in a square hole. And not everybody wants to do the same thing. Not everybody wants to do workshops. get up in front of people. Some prefer one-on-one, and some prefer administrative tasks behind the scenes. So, match the people to their comfort level, what they would like to do. Okay, promoting it within your chapter is important. I did mention to people that we had a reorganizational meeting where we gave them dinner. It wasn't fancy, it was just wraps and sandwiches and soft drinks at a hotel in the evening. And we talked about pro bono and my efforts for a few months before that meeting to establish some relationships in our community with nonprofit organizations. So we had something to talk about. But the people who had been on the pro bono committee and hadn't really done anything were anxious to get involved and started. So that might be something, our board paid for that. And not real expensive, but it did cost some money. Mentoring, I think, is important. And the more experienced pro bono volunteers in your group should welcome and mentor the people who are less experienced. It's much better. I mean, you've heard yesterday, been there, done that. Don't recreate the wheel. Use the resources available and the experience of those who have been out there doing this for a while. You might want to shadow them when they do a one-on-one, or go to one of their presentations, one of their workshop presentations, and see what happens and look at the interaction with the people. That would be a new volunteer to witness an event. Administration, communications, and reporting. Now, it's great if the pro bono director has someone else who can help in this regard, like keeping track of the events. But communication, I communicated by email, and we did have fairly frequent conference calls, which was the easiest way for us to get together rather than meeting each time. We had conference calls. It seemed like for us, 9 o'clock on a Friday morning was the time that worked for us. But and we had them around what we were doing rather than having it every single month or at regular periods. You might want to have it at regular periods, but we had them scheduled so that we had something to talk about at each one. And then at least once a year, get them together. Now, we also, in my last year, had a special meeting where we invited our nonprofit partners. And they came and shared experiences and talked about us, what they liked about us. We had that in a hotel in Philadelphia too, and they did come, and that was good for them to see each other. One thing we haven't done as good a job on, which I think we should still try to do, is have the synergy between the community-based organizations so that their members, their clients, all of them can come to any event that each one has. That's another thing we're working on, is getting enough seats in the people in the seats. Good turnout at the events is sometimes a struggle. You do this event and 5 people show up, it's a little discouraging. That doesn't always happen, but it happens too often. This is our committee. These are the people. Now, when I left, I was a pro bono director from 2007, 2008, 2009, and Sharon Bonham took over for me 2010, and she's doing it for just 1 year. She doesn't like the administrative part of being a pro bono director and prefers just doing the work, and she's excellent. She's a terrific person to do workshops and the one-on-one counseling. And another committed volunteer, Eric Doherty, is now our new pro bono director starting in January. So terrific people. But when I left and was getting in my last year of being pro bono director, I looked around our committee to see who might be a good replacement for me. And I had 5 people that I was looking at and asking people by phone, would you be interested in considering this? And a couple of them said no, they didn't have the time. And And Eric was starting a new job at the time, so Sharon said yes, and she was a great choice, and now Eric is picking up the baton. So it's good to have succession planning. You know, we don't have a huge group. Yes.
So you have a core committee?
Yes.
And then you go out and other events, so you try to get 20 other folks for that event.
Well, yeah, you're going to see a little later who our partners are, and but these are our core volunteers that come to our events and do the work, do the workshops, and also do the one-on-one counseling. And but these are people we can count on. You know, when we have something, and the way I set it up is each relationship that we have a relationship manager. One of these people is responsible for each relationship. My first year, I was the one for every relationship. And Anya, you know, you have 20. It's just impossible to do that. You have to have somebody responsible, and I think that's good in a couple of ways, because what it does is it gives them ownership of a part of your program, and it's much better. I mean, let's think about it. If we have 5 partners, we have 5 people as in charge of those partnerships. That's much more effective than one person doing it. So anyway, that's worked well for us. Yes.
You have to set up, if you do that, you have to set up a system of reporting back.
Oh, absolutely.
Otherwise, people go out and you have no idea what's happening.
Absolutely.
That's what happened to me too. I got responses and did not do what they were supposed to do. So
Yeah.
that's it.
It's helped me too, because we are. I was the relationship manager for all these relationships before passing them over, so I knew them, and I would ask them and knew about them, and sometimes participated myself. But 20, that's a whole different ball of wax. Anyway, okay, so I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but the training, as far as training is concerned, I think the best training is participating, either shadowing somebody who does it, who's doing it and has experience. As far as training, we did discuss this book. Sharon reviewed it with our group, and we talked about how to deal with, we had in a group setting in that meeting that we had with our members, with our pro bono volunteers. We did do some training there, but again, I think you learn on the job to a large extent. Okay, so this is it. Let's see, volunteer resources. Well, there's all kinds of things that you know that you could access from the pro bono website.
And I didn't know about the project managers. I remember working with Chia-Li from San Francisco, and Ben and I were on vacation for the last 2 or 3 years because he was on her team, and we were supporting her. So when Chia-Li sat down as the pro bono director, she could delegate to her one of her project managers. They were already involved, they understood the process, and it was easier for you, Ben, to step up because you understood all the logistics, correct?
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're grooming your next leader.
Yeah. The other thing that I think I would like to. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit now about the community-based organizations and the relationships that you're developing with them. And just a second here. Okay. As far as the relationships are concerned and who you're looking for as an ideal partner, memo of understanding, MOU, is very important. And what are you responsible for? What are they responsible for to pull it off? And they are to get the seats, the people in the seats, and to publicize the event, make the venue available, and sometimes even have handouts available, or sometimes we bring them. So that's their obligation, and to communicate with us, be organized, communicate with us, and we bring content. We bring the PowerPoints, we bring the handouts, we do bring the planners to do the one-on-ones. So that's the way we do it. and it works well. But as far as picking good community-based organizations, you get a feel for after a couple conversations. You call them, or do they call you back? Are they responsive to your needs? When you have an event, is it filled, or are there a good number of people that come? Or is it poorly promoted and not many people show up? Is the facility acceptable? And different things like that. And yes, Anya.
Well, we have that so often that people call us that we felt that we need a system in place. How do we deal with all the requests that we get? So we have, whenever someone calls me, then I send them a questionnaire just to get some information. I mean, I talk to them over the phone, just to get some information about their organization, and also a contact person, but also we want to know the supervisor of the contact person, because it so often happens that that person leaves and then you don't have any contact anymore in the organization, and we want to know that it's not only one person in an organization that contacts us who has an idea, but that it's carried by the organization. Then we invite that person to our meeting to present the organization and to tell about what they want of us, and to be able to get volunteers to this. I mean, it's much more attractive for attracting volunteers if they tell themselves what they need from us, and that I send around an email and ask to request for volunteers. So that's the system that we set up for this, and also we discussed it in the committees whether we have whether this would be a good relationship. And what I also find beneficial is that to create we would like a long-term relationship, not in some cases you do one-time workshops also, we also do that. But if you have a longer-term relationship, then we establish an MOU, and then I visit the organization, and then you get really a feel for them, what kind of organization. So no, that works very well.
Yes, and one thing you said, it's a group decision, it's a pro bono group decision as to whether or not you're going to accept a new community-based organization to partner with. Because let's face it, you can't make that decision as a pro bono director, because you're relying on these other pro bono volunteers to support the relationship.
Yeah.
And if they don't buy in, then you're not going to get the participation that you need to make it successful. You had something else?
Yes, what I also want to mention is that we invite them also at the end of the year to our annual networking meeting, which is about what you said, where we have the volunteers and the partner organizations together, but where we also try to get connections between the partner organizations, because they share a lot, and often they know each other, but sometimes they don't. And sometimes very interesting partnerships are developed because of this meeting. So that's another thing that we do.
I think it would be great if we either had a slide presentation or slides and video of some little snippets of what we do for different community-based organizations to be able to show at a meeting like that where they all come. So anyway, well, thank you very much. Yeah, that is good. But again, sometimes there's some on the list that we start out with, and then we find out that the relationship is not working the way we want. So it's trial and error to a certain extent. Okay, these are key goals to achieve in the coming year, and new relationships to develop. And you can see the new incoming pro bono director would like to increase our number of volunteers by 12 people. And we have 700 members in our chapter, and you saw the list. It's maybe 25 people. So we should be able to get more people to help us out. I made a pitch at our last event that you're not getting the full value of your membership if you're not participating. you're losing out. So I really encourage more people to do this work. Okay, so you can see these are our goals, and then just follow-up ideas. This is for you to record of what you got from CLC. But so we're going to break up into tables now, where with experienced. Yes.
Just a thought. Let me try to